I was just talking to a family member about some health issues regarding some of her other family and on the other side of her family. And it was, I have, I often when I have these conversations with people, sometimes I don't know what to do with all of this passion I have about people's agency and their own power, and the passion I have about revealing that truth to them, those truths to them. Because in our society, we can, in this, what I call the, now call the Western realm, in relation to my books, that's what it represents in my books. But this true and utter and like belief in a reality that is not serving us. And so when we were talking about these health issues and how they're going to, decide what's going to have to happen with this person who is having trouble, with his brain and, supposedly his brain, and how quickly it's gone to that state, and maybe they need to move to get closer, and maybe he needs to be in a home, and is his partner going to leave him because she can't deal with him and his inability or unwillingness to make any changes that would make him healthier, all of those things. And I'm just thinking, like, and I'm not thinking just thinking this, I'm saying this isn't how it needs to be. So writing these books isn't the answer. Writing these books is literally the thinning of the veil so that we can see that what we believe to be the only outcomes for a multitude of situations in our lives. And I don't mean just little things. I mean things that change lives, that end lives, that ruin lives, that suppress lives, that make them less than, or go in a direction that devolves us rather than evolves us. All of those things, those things, if we can step out of our beliefs and how we're supposed to be, and guffawing and poo-pooing things that look to be outside of that belief system, if we can do that, then there is a world of opportunity. There is healing, and there's lucidity in people who were diagnosed with, brain issues. There is a release from, a consistent, I suppose, I don't know, like reliance on a medical system, or some kind of system that tells us this is the only way. And even if it sucks, like it sucks. Nobody wants to be in a home. Nobody wants to lose their faculties. Nobody wants to be diagnosed with dementia. Nobody wants to be abandoned or feel like they have no choice but to place someone else in someone's care. They want to live together. They want to choose where they live. They want to manage their own lives. They want to be healthy. They want to be lucid. They want to be joyful, adventurous. But these beliefs in this box, this matrix that we create and put ourselves in, keeps us playing small, keeps us dumbed down, keeps us suffering. And so these books are my attempt to write ourselves out of that through creating a new story, and not only in our imaginations, which it needs to actually exist for the true creation to take place in our realized experience. So I was thinking about that, and the things that I was saying to this family member were very lightly received. I don't know if any of the thoughts were going to land or be acted upon. I can see the whole, the cascade continue, down the path that most people take, which is what the diagnosis and prognosis is going to mean, and what the next steps would be, and the most responsible thing to do would be. And I, instead of like literally wanting, sorry about that, wanting to like just scream at the top of my lungs at the utter refusal to hear. I'm writing it. And I decided to pull, and this is so cool. I decided to pull a couple of cards from my Sacred Rebels deck that my daughter gave me just out of the blue. I actually think it was for Mother's Day. And I chose 3 cards, and I'm going to read the whole things to you. So it's going to take a few more minutes, and I hope that you are interested enough to listen to all 3. So the first one was the Come to Life card. And I pulled these because I'm looking for direction. And I'm parts of this writing of this book, I'm just flowing. And some parts I want to pour in my time into it, but I feel daunted. Not by the actual writing of the books itself, but by the reality of what people are living in right now, and being able to feel creative in an environment that is sort of like kills creativity in a lot of ways. But I do have this undying, unyielding, unending, this desire, this purpose, this excitement about this project. It's so exciting. Okay, so I pulled these cards, and I felt like I wanted to pull one. I'm like, nope, that's not enough. I want to pull 2. I want to pull 3. So I pulled 3, and they're so fitting because I also had an exchange with a really important family member in my life today, and felt very under supported in what I'm doing because things have not been easy for us for the last several years financially. And for me to be doing this, writing these fictional fantasy books, seems insane. And for me, it's the most sane thing that I could be doing right now, keeping myself sane and literally doing my part to shift a consciousness. This is not like an egotistical thing. This is my contribution. This is so exciting, a shared experience, etc. Okay, so I tend to do this. I'm circling back, I promise. Okay, so Come to Life. This is the first card I chose. Okay, so I'm going to read it word for word. Okay. You are the most sacred of all sacred artworks. You are bringing yourself to life now, and this is how it must be. Of course, something being essential doesn't mean it will always be easy. You must support yourself and have courage during this process. It actually makes me want to cry because it's been hard. Your monkey mind is not to run the show. It might have a lot to say, and at times it seems very convincing, but it is not the one in charge. Your mind can inspire you with ideas. However, it is the real you that speaks through your rebellious sacred heart and is living your life, not the monkey mind. The mind is not much more than a swirling cacophony of habitual reactions. Beneath habitual thoughts, there is a deep sensual, creative, and energetic awakening happening to you. It is far beyond what the mind is now capable of controlling. Others might not like it because it shakes things up. Coming to life tends to do that. However, it is happening now, and the only real choice you have to make is how to deal with it. Coming to life means feeling. It means bringing joy, but it could equally bring sadness, rage, or fear. It could bring all of these and more. Feelings will come and go quite swiftly when allowed to flow. You might need to paint, write, enact a ritual, sing or dance your feelings to help the energy flow. Don't hold back. Create the space for yourself to do it. In this process, you are uncovering the artistry of the universal creator. You are honoring the sacredness of life by exploring it without restraint, and that includes the flow of your feelings. You don't have to do anything with them other than express. You may want to analyze, or you may not. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you are getting in touch with feeling. Learning how to access your feelings allows you to learn how to access your intuition, creative inspiration, and genuine internal guidance. These aspects flow from the same place and are often couched within your feelings in the form of emotions as well as physical sensations. The journey underneath the mind and into a sensual emotional connection with your feelings, emotions, and body is for a sacred purpose. It is a part of your path. You are one of the sacred but powerful minority that have chosen to come into a body and live consciously within it. That may seem like it applies to everybody, but when you experience it for yourself, you will realize that this is actually rather rare. There are plenty of bodies without a spirit really residing within, to care for, love, and honor them as a sacred animal. Fortunately, this minority is powerful enough that it can keep human culture in balance, but only just. We need every single one of us that is capable to be aware of the task and move beyond the mind and into the body. This is especially so if you have drawn the oracle of Beyond the Mind, the heartbeats. You may feel drawn to read the guidance of that oracle once you've completed the healing process below to support you on this part of your life path. Okay, which I did not pick those cards, by the way. And I do believe that the first card you pick is something of your past or things that you've already been exploring. And so for me, this has most certainly been part of my experience thus far. All right, so I'm going to read the rest of it, and this is the longest one, by the way. So to come into your sensuality, you will need to anchor your experiences. You may be blessed with relationships that are conscious enough to be interested in your journey in a constructive rather than controlling or undermining way. And I have to say, for myself, I feel connected to those people by way of listening to their work, like books, podcasts, but I only have a very, very few of them that I can actually speak to in person. And so that can feel very lonely. And that's a sacred longing I have, is for more of that, or for the people that I love and care about who are in my day-to-day life to be able to, I guess, see and hear what I'm seeing and hearing so we can connect on that. So, because otherwise it's pretty lonely. All right, so I do, and I have one person I'm thinking about that I'm going to share this with that literally she gets what I'm putting down and vice versa. Like, it's really a beautiful relationship and exchange. Okay, so if you have this person, people, talk, converse, share. If not, then you will need to be more resourceful in how you support yourself through your awakening process, at least until you attract more conscious connections into your life. It is likely that these connections are already on their way, just because you are working with the energy of this oracle deck. This is especially so if you have also drawn the conscious connections or collaborative dreaming cards, or feel inspired to read one or both of those messages after you have completed the healing process below. All right, so the message here, let's see here. You can support your own process by scheduling time for yourself and keeping to it like you would the most important date with destiny. So get to writing in your journal, or for me, writing my books. Do your dances, paint your pictures, create your creations, be kind to your body, listen to it, and let it be alive. Even in times of pain, know that there will always or also be ecstasy and bliss as the process of healing and awakening continues. The message of this oracle is be alive. Don't imagine you can go back to sleep. And sometimes I try. I can't, and I don't even want to. Okay, so this also says, you are too awake for that now. There is no falling back into old ways. If you do so, it will be short-lived and won't feel the same as it used to. And it doesn't. You may grieve this. You will certainly eventually celebrate it. You have crossed the threshold from an old way of being in an old life, and try as you might, you cannot return. It is better to let it go. Grieve if needs be. Celebrate if needs be. Or do both and move on into this moment. There is another adventure awaiting you now. You need a deeper connection to your own instincts, body, feelings, and intuitions that you can receive this new calling. You can trust in it too. Embrace it and it will embrace you. All right, so yeah, cards 2 and 3 are shorter. And this one feels it resonates with me the most. Of course, the one I just read did too, and I see this one as the present. And it's called the Sacred Fool. I pulled the Sacred Fool. The fool is a great rebel, able to thwart convention and tell the truth without restraint. Your heart is a wonderful, powerful, sacred fool. It cares not for the right way to do things. It cares not for what the mind says is real and not real. It lives according to an inner wisdom that cannot be dictated to, or controlled by anything. It loves, it lives, and it is what it is. Cool thing, just a fun fact, my daughter and I were actually talking about the characters of the Fool. And in some books that she's reading right now that I've read before, fantastic books. And also, the Fool and the Wit and the Trickster, characters in books, great works of, all through the ages, from Shakespeare before that to now. And I have a character in my books that serves that purpose. Actually, there's a few of them, but you will have to read them to see. All right, so this oracle heralds the time, now or imminent, when you will feel inspired, alive, and passionate for what you can offer to the world. It says to you, don't try to be appropriate. Don't try to be socially acceptable and worry about what others may think about what you are doing. Just be. If you want to wear a mad hat whilst doing so, fine. And I just want to say, for myself, I want to kind of cry for that person, that Carla, who feels like I have to be something else. And this is really what's going to be and has been a big challenge for me. It has been in the past and moving forward still, to continue to do this work that I do, even if it's not financially supported at this time. And I know that there's abundance in the universe. I feel completely abundant, but I kind of feel a little bit sad for this Carla who feels alone and unworthy, and that my work is not worth anything because outside of, it's not that it's not worth anything, it's that other people can't see its value in my life. So that's been tough, but at the same time, I'm wearing a Mad Hatter's hat. I'm laughing and joyful and giddy in life every day, literally a lunatic, just madly writing in my writing cave and bringing that out and speaking to my family and my friends and my, the rest of my family, like my mom and my dad. And I'm just these are things that I'm just so excited to explore, whether it makes sense for me to explore them or not. I don't really care. On some level, I don't care. So that's been interesting. All right, so this oracle heralds a time, now or imminent, when you will feel inspired, alive, and passionate for what you can offer to the world. It says to you, don't try to, why did I say worry? Interesting. Don't try to be appropriate. Don't try to be socially acceptable and worry about what others may think about what you are doing. Just be. Oh, I already read this. If you want to wear a mad hat whilst doing so, fine. Okay, read that twice. The sacred fool in you is willing to leave behind what has been because it no longer feels right to stay attached to it. The sacred fool in you trusts life completely. It would never occur to this part of you to try and outsmart life or resist its flow. It recognizes that the mind is a monkey puppet on strings. More often than not, it is cajoled into fear when it could be playfully dwelling in the radical spontaneity of life. And this is what I keep trying to tell people. Do not be cajoled into fear when you could be playfully dwelling in the radical spontaneity of life. This is the life outside of the veil. This is the truth. This is your potential. So the sacred fool in you urges your mind to let itself be pulled into joy by your heartstrings, not into fear and doubt by the controlling machines of mass media. This oracle brings you a message. It is time for you to play. It's time for you to let life happen in a completely unreserved, unscripted way. The more bizarre, left of field, unexpected, and apparently ridiculous, the better. Okay, here we go. This might not feel safe or appropriate at first. No, it does not feel safe. And that's okay. That is good, actually. It is a sign that you are breaking with your own self-imposed conventions. It is time to move beyond them now because a bigger life adventure is calling to you. This is wonderful news. It is the desire of life to operate more radically through you so that you become the conduit through which miracles and crazy wild synchronicity can occur. You are becoming more electric. You are more plugged into the apparent randomness of life. Apparent because there is a refined intelligence behind it all. The sacred fool goes with this without having to understand any of it. Again, which is good, trying to access even one genuine glimpse of life's unfathomable genius would probably make one's head explode. So this is what I call, in my books, the great mystery, right? This is the great mystery. As you take this journey, you may find that people around you are challenged. Yeah. You might unintentionally cause them to rethink the way they live their lives. They may question whether the way they are living is the only way for them or even the best way. At first, they may react rather than take responsibility. The sacred fool in you doesn't engage with this. This is my challenge. I need to conjure my inner fool and not engage. It is what it is, and it rises and falls as it will. It doesn't stop you from your merry dance of unconventional being. If you find yourself making choices that have others questioning your sanity, then you are right on course. You may feel that you are quite possibly going insane, but you are not crazy. You are just approaching enlightened awareness. There is a moment, sometimes a rather long one, when we wake up to life, shed our attachment to mass opinion, and float in a completely different state of being. We might find that no one is really able to understand or connect with us. Yeah. And you know what? This book also is speaking and connecting all of us who feel this way. And some of us who feel this way feel like they're nuts and get medicated and get sedated and cannot, in the book, represented as people who cannot integrate, right? So those are the characters in the book that represent this this state of being, having this inner, what is it called? The sacred fool bubbling up and not being able, and thinking that this is a problem when it is a superpower, really. All right, so I'm going to read that sentence again because I didn't finish it. We might find that no one is really able to understand or connect with us to the point that we question our state of mind. Stay with that. It will pass. It will pass. You will eventually see that you are becoming sane and in an insane world. I'm going to say that again. You will eventually see that you are becoming sane in an insane world. The tables will turn and you will gain great inner freedom and creative juice. Stay on your path. Stay on the journey. Remember to take nothing too seriously, and it will all work out perfectly. Yeah, wow. Okay, so one last one. This is the shortest write-up of all of them. All right, so where are we here? Pandora's Gift. It's number 3. This is moving into the future, I suppose. There is a mythic woman, much maligned throughout history, whose name means all gifted. Pandora lives within us as our curious nature, yearning to conquer chaos, evil, and darkness with the light of knowledge. She is the hopeful voice of our soul that asks the question and, in doing so, triggers the process that brings the answers. Sometimes it is through uncomfortable learning that we find our treasure. Pandora reminds us that the process of learning can take us to places that seem like the end of our world, and yet all is not lost. This is Veil's Edge. Even now, the light within you is stirring for a new revelation, new life, and new adventure. Pandora is all gifted and all giving. Her presence invites you to forego your belief in judgment. Now is the time to surrender the misplaced guilt that you may have brought upon yourself or another, some terrible happening. It is time to let go of the shame-based belief in punishment. This is a belief that you deserve to be brought to task over any perceived imperfection, or that your natural human journey somehow renders you inadequate. Pandora frees the soul from such torment. This is her gift. The human journey necessarily involves learning through experience. There is no shame in your learning process. Pandora's presence is the sign of a new time, a time to swap the notion of inherent shame for the acceptance of inherent divinity. From this moment on, how unstoppable you shall become. And this is how the people of the Western realm are received in the Eastern realm. The wisdom of the people in the Eastern realm at Veil's Edge, because they're not encouraged to forget their past. They're encouraged to gain wisdom from it and not to exile parts of themselves or their previous behaviors, but to witness what it has done for their personal evolution, witness where they were at, why they felt the need to behave and respond in ways that they did. And it's not to excuse, but it's to understand. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to read just the rest of it. So sacred rebellion is happening within your soul as a powerful uprising toward liberation. You are breaking free from the weighty criticisms of the world, from the power games that bore you senseless, and from the insanity of sacrilegious priorities in this world. Okay? This is a huge theme in all of my work, from my coaching to my writing to now in this fantasy series, that it is not the individual who is ill. It is the society that we have bought into, that we try to cram ourselves into. That is what is diseased, not us. So we adapt, and we're brilliant in those adaptations. It's just when you see that this is all a construct that we've created, and we're literally making ourselves sick to fit into a sick society, then when we see that, we can move out of it. Yeah? Okay. I'm not going to go too far into that. You have to read the books. Okay, so dare to disobey anything and everything that is not divine. Pandora, and I would say also sacred. Pandora is the leader of your soul revolution. She defies the vicious judgments of history and all that has been said about her. She shrugs off misery, despair, and the weight of the world to recognize that she is the bearer of the true and beautiful light of peace, comfort, hope, and reassurance. With her oracle comes the realization that you too are a divinely defiant believer in hope, who shall cast off the works of anyone who seeks to torment you. All this shift takes place, or as this shift takes place, I love the word shift, okay? I use it all the time. You shall dare to look within your own being and find the light. You are being put on divine notice from the sacred feminine that there is a talent and ability within you that needs to be acknowledged. There is a worthy seed of something beautiful and necessary within you. If you choose to develop and express this seed, step by step it will become an extraordinary light in your life and in the world. So poke your tongue out at the naysayers and turn your attention to the bright hope within. You are born to strut your soul stuff. Okay, my challenge, and also in writing these books, is to, well, I want to express the frustration that can happen when faced with naysaying, and when you're trying to express your sacred fool, when you've opened up that Pandora's box, when you see through the veil and you are living, you're attempting to live how you want to live in a world that tells you you can't. And so there is a lot of frustration and anger and sacred rage that can come with that. And so through some experiences of the characters in the book, I hope to address that in a way that is honest about the beginning phases of that, and also as an opportunity to gain the wisdom and not react to it, which is a way that they would live in the Eastern realm. So, yeah. So again, myself writing these books is myself writing my way into my own, just being better at this thing. Not reacting, which becomes easier and easier as you practice, I suppose. All right, so Pandora's gift, what was the other one? Come to life, and Sacred Fool. My lessons for today, and I'm just glad you were with me to explore that.